Of course, this is election season across the world. Polls have opened in Iran's presidential election runoff as well. Today's vote will be a tight race between lawmaker Masoud Pezeshkian, the sole moderate in the original field of 4 candidates, and former Revolutionary Guards member Saeed Jalili. Polls will close at 6 p.m. local time, but they are usually extended until as late as midnight. The final result will be announced on Saturday. Although initial figures may come out sooner, the runoff election follows last Friday's polls where only about 40% of voters turned up to cast their ballots in Iran. As a result, none of the 4 candidates were able to garner that 50% of vote which was needed to win, sending the election into a runoff round. In the first round, Pezeshkian won with a slight lead. The election is to choose a successor to President Ibrahim Raisi, who died in a helicopter crash in May. The reformist candidate Pezeshkian, who is a former health minister, has promised he will engage with the West in nuclear negotiations to lift the tough economic sanctions that are plaguing Iran's economy. On the other hand, the ultra-hardliner Saeed Jalili, a former nuclear negotiator, has portrayed a much tougher position on negotiations. He has also underlined his plans to defeat sanctions and strengthen economic ties with other countries. Now, the next president is not expected to usher in any major policy changes in Iran's nuclear program or support for militia groups across West Asia, since Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei calls most of those big shots on top state matters. However, the president can influence the tone of Iran's domestic and foreign policy. Insiders say Khamenei is keen on a loyal and compliant president who can ensure a smooth eventual succession.
خواهند انداخت با ذکر صلوات بر محمد و آل محمد. این نامزد مورد نظرشون رو در برگه تعرفه رأی خواهند دقایق
they have been trying very hard to get more voters. One reason the turnout was lower than expected was that this is a snap election. Generally, on the same day that we have presidential elections, we have city council elections. And since there are tens of thousands of people who are running for city council elections and have relatives and friends, we have a push at local level for a higher turnout. We are having elections today because the president of the country passed away about 2 months ago. So the polling, the elections are on just the president. No other elections are being held. And since this is a snap election, the candidates have been presenting their cases, visiting different cities for just a few weeks. In normal elections, people who are running for president would be visiting different cities for months and months. And so this is another difference. So the lower turnout is expected. The 2 candidates, as you said, are trying to get more voters. They were close. Mr. Jalili and Mr. Pezeshkian's vote were very close. We had a 3rd candidate, Mr. Ghalibaf, who is currently the head of Iran's parliament. And basically his voters will decide who is going to be Iran's next president. If they go with Mr. Jalili, he will be. If they will go with Mr. Pezeshkian, Mr. Ghalibaf is considered a conservative candidate. So the chances of Mr. Jalili winning is higher if Mr. Ghalibaf's voters go to him, but we just have to wait and see. This is the nature of Iranian democracy. Generally, you cannot tell who's the winner until the results are counted.